A long time ago, I raised a son to know his Reitmans from his Reiners.
Now we're turning our arguments into content. This is I Am Your Father, where Gen X meets Gen Z in hyperspace.
Yep. Rest in peace, Rob.
Rest
We're going
in
to talk
peace.
about you a little bit later.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, Reitmans, Reiners, two like father-son combos.
Okay,
You know, both, Hollywood royalty.
Didn't catch on, but I am now.
And yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Rob and his wife a little bit later. But before we get into that, I'm Graham.
And I am Braden.
And we've got a fun little topic for this episode. We're going to talk about our personal favorite rewatchable films.
Yeah.
A little bit about why. Certainly not meant to be a definitive list of the most rewatchable films, because it's obviously extremely subjective to your personal taste.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at your list, and there's so many great movies that I love, and yet they're not the ones that I rewatch over and over again.
Yeah.
And so I think it'll be fun to kind of talk about that. And I'd love for our listeners to comment on some of the posts or on YouTube what their favorite rewatchable films are.
Definitely. I'm excited to cover a lot of these. Obviously, we're putting together lists of movies that we love so much, clearly.
Yeah.
And it's fun. I know we are going to have some crossover. And as I'm putting my list together, I'll hop into it later, but it made me realize some patterns and all this kind of stuff. So...
yeah, that's interesting. I'd love to hear about that.
Yeah, I think it's super fun, so I'm excited.
Yeah, I in terms of what you literally typed out and what I typed out, there was only one that was the same, which was funny. Yeah, one. And I highlighted it. We'll come back up to that later. But it was the only one. I ended up leaving it off my list because it was highlighted, but you've added a few more. Oh, now there's two.
There's just no way that only two of the movies on my list are in your rewatches.
Well, they're not the same list. I'm just telling you.
That's crazy.
I mean,
okay.
It's not that I don't rewatch them. They're just not my top 10 or 15 or whatever this is.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Before we dive into our 10 and 20, though, we for those of you who are avid I'm Your Father podcast listeners,
all of you,
you'll know that we oftentimes do a little banter before we jump into the 10
updates.
and 20.
Yeah.
And what's going on with you, etc.
Yep.
But we put a script together just to kind of remind us where we should be at this point in the podcast, at that point in the podcast, etc. Keep us on pace.
We have a script?
We have a script, yeah.
Okay.
You should pull it up.
I should find it.
This week's script says next to banter, it says, Braden, 40 pounds of chicken.
Oh, yes.
I don't know what this is about, but why are we bantering about 40 pounds of chicken, son?
Yeah, 40 pounds of chicken. Well, today I spent like 4 hours cleaning and filleting 40 pounds of chicken for myself.
Yeah.
But actually, in total, I filleted 100 pounds of chicken total, cutting it up, cleaning it, and vacuum sealing it to freeze.
Like dressing like a whole bird?
No. It was so my local grocery store overstocked on chicken by a lot. So they were selling it for 99 cents a pound. It usually is like $3 to sometimes $4 a pound for these big old chicken breasts. So me and my whole family kind of took advantage of it. They were just selling it by the box if you wanted. So I grabbed a 40-pound box for myself, and I'm going to have chicken for the next 6 months at least for $40, which is pretty cool.
And was this like chicken breasts or what was it?
Yeah, they were boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and nice and huge. And we marinated a bunch of them, and I'm excited.
You've just been doing nothing but chicken all day.
Yeah, my hands were soaked in chicken juice. You know when you got the prune fingers? I had that, but from chicken juice today. So that's pretty disgusting. Does
not sound appetizing.
But handling 100 pounds of chicken in one day, kind of interesting, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. There you go. Well, you'll have to give us some occasional updates on the cooking of these various
absolutely
portions of chicken.
As I'm sure everybody would love to have these updates. Yes. Absolutely. I got you guys.
And you're about 1 week from being back here in California and hanging for the holidays.
Very excited.
So we're looking forward to that. We've got several fun movie plans lined up. We've got Avatar, Fire and Ash. We've got The Matrix, shared reality experience.
Super excited.
It should be good.
Which, by the way, just found out today we're seeing Avatar, Fire and Ash in IMAX 3D.
That's right. IMAX 3D.
The best possible option, basically.
That's what I got. I got the IMAX 3D tickets.
Let's go. I'm excited.
Yeah, we'll be ready. And our parties keeps getting slightly bigger.
Oh,
by the
cool.
way. We've had a couple more people tag on, so we have a good little group going.
Fun.
Yeah.
Very fun.
Well, should we get into our 10 and 20?
Yeah, let's do it. So our 10 and 20.
Why don't you lead it in?
Yeah, our 10 and 20 is the segment where we cover 10 topics in exactly 20 minutes, designating about 2 minutes per topic. And we have a lot of trailer news this week specifically, so we're going to be talking mostly about trailers. We're going to be talking about Rob Reiner a little bit, who sadly passed away this week, and some other fun stuff. Well, that's not fun, sorry, but the other stuff is fun. And I'm excited to jump into this. So do you want to start us off with topic number 1?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm also just going to hold on before we get too far. I'm going to start us off on the topic, then I'm going to let you talk about it because my computer's giving me a little bit of weirdness, and I want to make sure it doesn't freak out in the middle of our
no problem.
Middle of our recording.
No problem.
So we have our first new trailer to talk about is Supergirl.
Yes.
Trailer dropped. And I'm interested in your reaction. I'll give you mine as well.
Yeah. So by the time this episode's released, the trailer will have been out for like 10 days because it came out right after we recorded, basically. Last episode, that is. And I will say I thought it was a cool trailer. I like the direction they're going, even though it's very much Guardians-esque. I mean, James Gunn does that well. Do I feel like part of me is a little disappointed, I guess, that it seems to be such a similar vibe? I'm kind of looking for, some other things. That being said, I do feel safe, like in this environment with James Gunn. I know he knows how to do it well. Mm-hmm. And I thought Call Me as the song was super great, and I thought it was a good trailer. Honestly, I thought it piqued my interest. It got me excited, and I don't feel like it gave us very much at all, which I'm thankful for.
Cool. We may have to pause for a quick edit because you are... Oh, you're back. Okay. I lost you for a second there.
Okay.
Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, I just... You disappeared on me for a second, so...
Oh, yeah, no, I can... everything's good on my end.
Good. We'll just decide... you can decide and edit if you want to deal with that or not.
I'm leaving it in.
Going back to Supergirl... and the comparison to Guardians, I think even Gunn is comparing it. I mean, he's saying it's going to be darker and more serious than Guardians 3 and the whole Rocket subplot in that movie, or I guess hardly even a subplot. It's really kind of the primary plot of that film. And so I'm curious. It felt a little more intergalactic to me as well than I was hoping it would be, but I guess we'll see how that goes. And everything else about it looks really fun, and I enjoyed the trailer. Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of just at a point where I'm putting my faith in him, Like,
yeah.
Even if I'm not extremely interested in what I'm hearing or what is being teased or whatever, I have a feeling that I'm going to walk away from the movie having enjoyed it.
Yep, I'm certain.
And our literally like half a second glimpse at Jason Momoa as Lobo.
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak to the performance or anything, but the dude looks exactly like Lobo. It's pretty cool. So
you even just snapped a screenshot and sent that to me.
Yep, exactly.
Just that alone.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. But we have some other trailers too. Some other trailer news.
Trailers and trailer news. Yeah.
And we have to talk about the fact that it seems that the Avengers Doomsday trailer, or the first one of 4 apparently, leaked almost a week before it was supposed to release in theaters.
Yeah.
I'm definitely curious to hear your take on A, the leak, B, the content, because I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah.
A lot.
So I luckily was able to avoid the leak. I didn't want to see it. The actual trailer being leaked. I didn't see the trailer. But I did, of course, see the news that came out about the trailer, which didn't really seem to be a leak. It seemed just to be like Marvel was announcing how they were going to roll these trailers out, and that we were going to basically get 4 all released in theaters only, is what they're saying, and all released with Avatar: Fire and Ash. And there basically was like a one trailer a week kind of format.
Yeah.
But they essentially, then with the news, they spoil what the trailer is going to be The first one, because they're saying that the sort of main character in Avengers Doomsday is going to be Steve Rogers, and it's going to be part of that. You're going to find out in the trailer, except we're finding out when you're telling us what to go watch in the trailer.
Yeah.
So for the 4 parts were Steve Rogers, Doctor Doom, Thor, and then a, I guess, all cast kind of trailer is what we're hearing. These 4 trailers.
Allegedly.
I have a lot of thoughts on it too. I'm frustrated with the way that Marvel decided to announce this information. I think it would have been cool for it to just kind of come out that that another trailer had dropped instead. It's not going to probably get me to go see Fire and Ash 4 times.
No. So yeah. So this is what's interesting, right? Is when I first found out they were doing 4 trailers a week apart, I'm like, this is part of my French bullshit. First of all, like, I do not like this at all. I'm not going to go see it 4 times. And the fact that they're saying it's not going to be released online just means that it is going to be released online, but not by them, by the people recording in the theaters. So that's annoying, first of all. But then,
and I don't believe that they'll even hold to that.
No, I don't think so.
The second there's a crap version out, they're going to put it out.
Hopefully. But here's the other thing. So then the trailer leaks, supposedly. And it's pretty clear that the trailer is just another casting announcement, more or less. So then I'm like, okay, if this is what all 4 trailers are, then it kind of makes sense. Like the 4 trailer thing, they're trying to make a thing about it. But even so, the fact that we maybe know who each trailer is about already, and then there's like this weird thing where all of a sudden it just seems to be known that Steve Rogers will be the lead of the movie. First of all, I don't buy that. Marvel hasn't said that. This trailer's technically not even out yet. I have seen it.
You saw the trailer, the leaked one.
Yeah, I did see it because I was just seeing stills from it all over the place. Like,
yeah.
And here's my thing. I don't know what the hell to believe. I honestly am not 100% convinced that it's even real. Like, until that trailer shows in front of Avatar, I'm not convinced that it's real. It 100% could be. And it could just be the fact that it's the shittiest quality trailer, like, visually. But it doesn't even feel super real. And so what's strange is
what you saw didn't feel like it was a legitimate trailer.
It low-key felt a little AI. Now, everybody just seems to believe this is what's happening for sure. And now Steve Rogers is the lead.
Disney did just sign a big deal with OpenAI and Sora.
They did.
To license its character.
They did. So I just think there's like, I could be completely wrong, but if I'm right, look back at this. I feel like something funky's going on. I don't know that this is completely exactly what it seems. I don't think everybody has it figured out the way we think we have it figured out. If I'm wrong, if this is what they're doing, it is real, everything like that. Let's just say theoretically, the trailer releases in theaters, then they release it online. They do it the way they should do it, right? Release it online so people don't watch bootleg versions.
Yeah.
And everything about what we saw, we have Cap, then we have Thor, then we have Doom, and then we have a full trailer, right? Everything about that is real. How do we actually feel about Steve Rogers coming back and potentially having more than just a couple minute role?
Yeah, I don't love it. It feels you and I were talking about some commentary we saw from another content creator just calling it out that it feels like an admission of guilt, so to speak, or an admission of failure.
Yeah.
That, okay, not only are we having to bring back Robert Downey Jr., but we're also going to be bringing back Chris Evans. And because everything that we've been doing since Endgame has not worked, essentially. And so we're going to go back to the hits. We're going to play the hits.
Yeah. I honestly don't know how to feel about this. Truly. That for the longest time, Captain America was my favorite character.
Absolutely.
And was even like really up there as maybe my favorite superhero ever, simply based on the portrayal in the MCU. Like, I love Chris Evans as Captain America. Yeah. I love how the Russo brothers handle Captain America, especially. So I almost feel part of me is scared. Part of me is a little guiltily excited. I almost feel like a kid who had just the perfect amount of candy, just the best candy bar in the world, and then goes back for more, and by the end of it, like, it's going to taste good, but I'm going to throw up when it's said and done. Like, Captain America story ended, in my mind, perfectly. Like, we really wrapped this up really nicely. If this is tainted by Chris Evans returning for a whole nother movie and maybe a whole nother 2 movies or 3, who freaking knows?
Yeah.
A part of me is going to be excited just to see him again. And then another part of me is going to always say, it ended so well. Why are we still here?
Yep.
And that's tough. So I have the 2 sides of me at conflict with each other right now. And I don't really know how to feel, but I will say at the end of the day, the Russo brothers with the MCU have not given me a reason to not trust what they're working on. They have with other movies, but they have proven time and time again that they know how to handle these characters. They know how to handle these stories. So I will hold out hope until I sit down for the movie and watch it all the way through that it's going to be good. And in fact, I will even be excited and anticipating the movie until then.
How are you feeling about the idea of not getting to see that trailer until Tuesday? Because we're not going tonight. Is it? Are we? No, today's Wednesday. So
yeah, we'll
should be some Fire and Ash viewing starting tomorrow, right?
Yeah, they'll be starting tomorrow. Honestly, I'm fine because at this point, like the trailer is the news. You know, like the trailer is gonna mean nothing to you because you have the news. So It's not like we see him in action or anything that like is particularly exciting. It's just Steve Rogers is in this movie.
Yeah.
So
which they've already told us. Yeah.
Right. So I'm not like freaking out like, oh, I need to see this on the big screen soon. Like I'm going to see it. Mm-hmm. And so I don't really care, honestly.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, we kind of just covered 2 topics, right? Or were there more leaks you wanted to cover?
No, that was 2 topics, but there is one more thing kind of having to do a lot with this that I'm not even sure.
Doomsday?
Yeah, I'm not sure that you're aware of this, but it was being reported yesterday and today. So actually, they're both go together. It's being reported that the Thor trailer has also leaked. I have avoided this one.
Okay.
But it's being reported that that's leaked also. We don't need to cover that because I don't know anything about it. But it is also apparently that the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer has leaked as well. And I was seeing stuff from that. That one feels much less real to me. That one really does feel like someone is hopping on this train of like, oh, this is getting a lot of attention right now, so let me throw together something that looks like it might be a Spider-Man trailer.
And then marketing that it's a real one. I hate leak culture so much.
Me too.
I hate everything about this.
Here's the thing.
It just ruins everything.
It would not be hard to convince me that Marvel is responsible for some of the leaks in terms of it as an intentional marketing move.
Yeah.
Because it gets people talking like crazy. I remember the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer leaked before the movie came out. The very first trailer leaked. And then the next day the trailer came out and it was the biggest trailer of all time. Like it was getting talked about like crazy. So it's like there is something to be said for it. I don't like it. I want things to just be released in high definition so I can watch it. I still am honestly not even a fan of the fact that we're getting trailers for this movie a year before it comes out.
Yeah.
I would have much rather have waited at least like closer to 9, 8, 7, 6 months.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just like there's leaks everywhere. Thankfully, we don't know what's real with AI right now. So could be real, could be fake. I'm just going to choose to really not believe that anything's real until I see it. That way I really can't be super disappointed, you know?
Yeah. Well, speaking of other things that are attached to the Avatar release, not just the trailers, but we are hearing that there's going to be a 6-minute Odyssey prologue attached to Avatar. What are you hearing here? Is this something that's going to be everywhere? At the end? What's going on with this?
So The first I heard of this was that this prologue or 5 or 6 minute prologue was going to be attached to IMAX showings of One Battle After Another and something else that came out recently. They were re-showing in IMAX last week.
Okay.
And so people have seen this. This is 100% real. I follow a few creators who have talked about it and said it's amazing and their hype is at an all-time high for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was being reported that it will also be attached to Avatar Fire and Ash. So similar to how I think the first teaser trailer for the Odyssey was attached to Superman, where it literally played right before the movie. Like the lights went down as if the movie was starting, but then that trailer played. Yeah. I would assume it's going to be something like that. If it's not showing before our 3D IMAX showing of Avatar Fire and Ash, I'll be pissed because I'm arguably as excited for this as I am for Avatar Fire and Ash.
Which is so far getting really good reviews.
Yeah, I've actually been seeing a lot of mixed reviews. I've been seeing nobody saying that it's bad, but I've been seeing a lot of people praising it like this is incredible. And then a lot of other people are kind of sitting in like the 7 out of 10 range saying like, yeah, it is visually incredible, but it feels really similar to just the Avatar movies and it needed to take a swing kind of a thing. So
interesting. I've mostly only seen 8s and 9s.
Okay. I'm predicting for myself an 8. I would love to get a 9, but I'm predicting an 8.
Yeah. So I should be predicting a 7?
Yeah. Well, This is interesting actually. Real quick, we could touch on this. Do you know what you rate the other 2 Avatar movies? Because I just rewatched them, so I know where I have them.
I don't even know if I'm going to have time to rewatch them before. I really want to get to both of them beforehand, but I don't know that I'm going to have time to do that. And I can't remember what I have them, if I even have them on Letterboxd, for example.
You should have Way of Water.
What's that?
You should have Way of Water because that's come out since you've been using Letterboxd. Yeah,
I would think. But no, I don't off the top of my head remember, and I don't know. Putting me on the spot.
We'll cover it on our Avatar episode, which will be next week.
Fair enough. Yeah, next week's episode.
But I think you definitely should try to get a rewatch in before.
I know.
Do your best.
Just a question of finding the time.
You have a week. Almost. 6 days.
Less. Yeah.
Squeeze it in.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right. What's next?
Batman Part 2 likely adapting The Long Halloween. Plus, we've got some interesting casting rumors. You enjoy The Long Halloween?
Yeah, the story, I find it definitely interesting. I do think what is maybe more interesting is the fact that the first Batman movie, Matt Reeves' first Batman movie, seemed to also be loosely based on The Long Halloween with a lot of its storylines. So if he's kind of just trying to stay in that same pocket, that makes sense. But I think like the part that people are reporting on most is that this is going to follow the part of The Long Halloween that follows Harvey Dent and his wife or fiance, with ScarJo playing the wife or fiance. I'm forgetting
Harvey's
her name.
wife.
Harvey's wife. And then obviously it was being reported that Brad Pitt was offered the role of Harvey Dent, but it's also being reported that he passed on it. And I'm personally about that kind of sad. I love Brad Pitt. I would have loved to have seen him in this movie.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen him in this as well.
I think it fits well. Especially because the first Batman is like so clearly inspired by Seven and Zodiac, like a movie, one of which Brad Pitt is in and really amazing in. I think it would have been really cool. But ScarJo seems to be in this movie.
For sure. That's being reported as a done deal, right?
Yeah, it's being reported as though it's fact.
Yeah, but the Brad Pitt one is really just rumors right now. I kind of struggle to believe that he's going to do it, like that he would do it. I don't
Pitt?
feel like
I don't. Think
I don't feel like Superman or superhero movies really is his thing. But if he was ever going to do one, I think Matt Reeves is the place for him to be.
I agree.
But yeah,
he's not made for an MCU movie. No,
it's fun. It's fun to think about the concept, but I really struggle to believe it's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Well, we do have some obviously super tragic news this week. that Rob Reiner and his wife have passed away. As time of recording, it's been, I think, 3 days. By the time this comes out, it will have been 5 days. Obviously, the circumstances of their deaths seem to be even more tragic. But I feel like we should just take a moment to kind of remember and appreciate him, right?
Yeah.
He's responsible for one of my favorite movies of all time, which is actually going to make my list later of most rewatchables, and that's The Princess Bride.
Yeah.
I mean, that is my ultimate comfort movie. Maybe my most rewatched movie. I just kind of throw it on all the time.
Yeah.
And he's also, and from what I gather, this is a lot of people's reaction, like thanking him for movies that have like incredibly impacted them.
I think he has in his career been very good at working with really great writers and finding the perfect way to translate their scripts to the actual film and make it amazing. I mean, whether it's Aaron Sorkin in A Few Good Men and An American President, Stephen King in Misery and Stand By Me. You mentioned Princess Bride. There's William Goldman, who's just an absolutely incredible writer. He's just very good at finding great material and then bringing it to life and really making it human. And if you go through his filmography, I mean, he wasn't ever particularly focused on a singular genre. He was a little all over the place. And that's great. It seemed to me like he could tackle kind of anything. And sometimes you'd see his name attached to something. Like when I first, I was pretty young, but when I first saw that he was doing Misery, I thought, what, Rob Reiner's doing like a horror movie? It's kind of weird, but it's a really good film. And then really I would call Misery probably more of a thriller than horror, but it was a Stephen King adaptation. The American President and A Few Good Men are both really interesting political intrigue dramas. When Harry Met Sally, another classic of his, pure rom-com. I mean, really, like almost single-handedly responsible for the rom-com movement of the 90s.
Yeah.
And then going real far back to This Is Spinal Tap and pairing with Christopher Guest. And company, and really igniting a kind of the blueprint for the mockumentary. It's pretty impressive list, and I mean there's 6-7 of his films that are apologize for that, Vive la France, and that are all on my semi-regular rewatch list. I mean, they're just movies that I really respect a lot. So it's tragic. We've definitely lost a great storyteller, and by all accounts a really kind individual. So, and then of course he was an actor as well.
Yeah, he was.
And there was some great. I mean, he was just so funny. I mean, his part in All in the Family when he was very young is iconic. But if you go through the rest of his career, he's just so good in so many different places. Most recently, I've really enjoyed him in The Bear. He has a really small part in The Bear, doing as sort of a business consultant.
You're right.
And
I forgot about
he
that.
was, and I just every time he was on screen in that, I was like, oh, he's good. He's just really good. He just made you feel warm, and like he was just
100%.
Such a kind character in the show as well. And I just thought those scenes between him and the guy working the window were so sweet, and just I don't know, they just really uplifted me. I felt like so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sad, and I think that I mean, as more details come about the actual homicide, I think it's gonna ultimately feel more and more tragic as we get more information about this. But I think for us anyway, celebrating his work is the move. I'm going to give you some Rob Reiner homework this week.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to talk a little bit more about a couple of his movies, at least one of his movies later on in our piece too. So
yeah, rest in peace. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so we're also hearing that Dune 3 is going to start off with a 15 to 20 year jump in time. It's just it's a lot, right? But does it worry you at all as far as this third one is concerned?
You know, I am stoked and so excited for this movie. I think really he can, if he closes this out with a bang, it's going to be up there in that all-time trilogy conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this news and also the fact that Timmy's going to have a buzz cut the whole movie, or at least for a good part of the movie, makes me a little nervous. I think he's going to look, I'm afraid that he's going to end up looking a little goofy. And I also think B, it's going to be strange watching him now try to play 15 to 20 years older. I don't know if they're doing like any kind of prosthetic or makeup or how they're doing it. I don't know. I don't know the story. I have not read the books, so I don't know the significance of this narratively. But I will say this news makes me a little bit nervous. But again, I have no reason not to trust.
I think Chalamet is a really great chameleon as an actor. So the changes to the look of the character and him, having his head shaved and being a lot older, I have a feeling he's going to be able to pull it off.
I'm sure he will.
I think he is without doubt one of our most talented younger actors, and certainly like the cream of the crop in terms of his generation. And I think he's going to bring it. I haven't read that book either. I only read the first two. So I'm not quite sure what happens in the story and what to expect. But I think Denis is going to do us right, and I think that Chalamet can pull this off.
Yeah. Okay. Well, lastly, we have two more trailers just to touch on real quick.
Mm-hmm.
We have Steven Spielberg's Disclosure Day trailer, which is his return to sci-fi. And I want to know what you think about this. I'll just say real quickly, I think it looks pretty cool.
It does. I liked it a lot. It's interesting because I found it interesting thinking about some old Steven Spielberg quotes when I can't remember what movie he was being asked about, but it was some kind of alien invasion movie, and he mentioned that he was never going to make a scary alien movie. That to him, the embracing of the concept of extraterrestrials, whether it's ET or Close Encounters or other things, like that was the lane he was going to stay in. This seems like it's going to be like potentially pretty dark and really fascinating. Now, who knows? Maybe there's a silver lining in the story that is yet to be revealed.
I think there will be.
It's a good looking trailer, and I found myself on the edge of my seat the whole time and immediately rewatched it. So I'm pumped about this. Outside of the outside of the teaser that they put on some in Times Square, I hadn't really known anything about this film until that came out. And my interest is definitely peaked.
Yeah, me neither. I will say, again, really great trailer. I think that silver lining is kind of already shown in the trailer, though. Like we get a lot of shots of animals acting almost endearingly.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, that's my least favorite part of the trailer. I think the trailer opens just so well with Emily Blunt's newscaster monologue, and then the alien taking over her voice. It sounds like it's very cool. Very cool stuff.
And some more Josh O'Connor.
Yeah, more Josh O'Connor, who we just absolutely loved in Knives Out. So yeah, I'm super hyped for it. But I will say, on the other hand, the Dracula trailer I found completely underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
I actually didn't know anything about this movie. I even was like, there's a Dracula movie coming out. I looked it up. I was like, who's even in this?
Yeah.
Like, why is this on our list? Then I saw Christoph Waltz was in it, and one or two other actors that I recognize. But I honestly do not care after that trailer.
I don't know the rest of the cast too well, honestly. There were, in fact, the female lead. I misidentified as a different actor throughout the whole trailer. When I looked at it, I was like, why did I think that was somebody else? And then the male lead or the actor playing Vlad Count Dracula. I also barely recognized him at all. I had to look him up, and I can really only think of him in like two things that I'd seen before.
Yeah.
Christoph is the I guess the name associated with this. Listen, it's a good director, but for me, Luc Besson is a little hit or miss at times. I think he's got some films that I really love, and then he has some films that I personally think are a bit on the overrated side.
It looks pretty miss to me. I don't even know why. Like the wardrobe, the aesthetic, all these things look great, but like it was just missing something for me. Like the whole time I was watching the trailer, it was just missing like that spark, that intrigue.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't really like put it into words exactly why I'm underwhelmed, but I'm underwhelmed.
Did it feel a little like, didn't we just do this with Waltz? Like we just came off of him doing Frankenstein and now he's in Dracula.
Yeah.
And obviously these are different writers, but there's a kinship to the characters, to their place in movie history and horror and monster history.
Yeah.
So it did, to me, was like, oh wait, Waltz just like went off the set of Frankenstein right into the set of Dracula.
He looks exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to do the Mummy next. What's going on?
Yeah, probably. And then, then the missing link and all those. Yeah.
Everything else. The Invisible Man.
Yeah.
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 Well, I agree. I think it was a little underwhelming. I wasn't blown away. I'm hoping maybe it could be better. I enjoyed Dracula as a concept, and as a foundation for stories. I think unfortunately though, it's done in a disappointing way more often than not, I think.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
Do you have like a go-to Dracula movie?
Honestly, no.
I mean, it would have to be Coppola's, but there's so much wrong. I mean, there's so many bad performances in that movie.
Yeah, I haven't seen all of them, not even close. There are plenty I haven't seen, but Dracula kind of falls into a category for me of like a concept, an idea that I find really intriguing, but like have never really enjoyed the execution on. Yeah. In terms of what I've seen so far. I need to go back and visit some of the more classic Dracula stories. Personally, it's on my to-do list, but this one does not seem like it's going to take that place for me.
Fair enough. All right, well, that's our 10 and 20. Just
30.
Took us a good 30 something. Yep. Who knows?
Yep.
All right, should we dive into our main topic?
Let's dive into our main topic. You want to break it down again?
Sure. Okay, so movies. Sometimes you watch them one time and you can appreciate them. Sometimes you only watch them one time because they're terrible and you're not going to revisit them. But we've all got those movies that we come back to over and over and over again. They're like, family members. They're good friends. They're just, whether it's, I got to watch this once a year, every single year, and I'm really going to pay attention, or this is that movie that I put on in the background and I just kind of, I'm doing the ironing or I'm doing the cooking or whatever. And it's always there and it just kind of, puts me in the right mood. I fall asleep to it, whatever it might be. We're going to put together we're going to give you guys our individual lists. There's not like a set number. I guess we could kind of just fake it in terms of the number. Maybe there is.
We're just going to cover movies. Yeah.
Yeah. And sort of just talk about why we think they're rewatchable and what we really like. We'll try not to spend too much time on each. But we don't really have a set format for this, do we? Because we haven't done this. You want to kind of just go back and forth and talk one versus another and jump in there?
Yeah, that goes great. Or that sounds great. Okay. And I'll just start. It's the movie I already mentioned earlier. The Princess Bride is maybe my most rewatched movie. I think I already mentioned it's the ultimate comfort movie for me. Yeah. There will often be times like if I'm having a hard time falling asleep, I will turn this movie on.
Yep.
And watch it, or even sometimes just listen to it. The way it sounds is like so deeply ingrained into my brain that it just gives me, the little dopamine hit or whatever. The melatonin kicks in and I fall right asleep. And then I wake up and feel disappointed I didn't get to see the end, which has a lot of my favorite parts. So I just finished the movie then. I love this movie. I think it's just one of the most charming movies ever made. If it's not for you, it's not for you. I get a lot of people find this movie rather strange or weird, but this movie means so much to me, not even for any particular reason other than just it's become almost a ritual for me to just throw it on, honestly, multiple times a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the movie, as we mentioned before. Rob Reiner directed, William Goldman script based on his book. The single best Carrie Elwes performance we ever got was like the first and the last like great Carrie Elwes performance. Robin Wright's so good, but it's the gang that really to me steals the film, right? You've got Mandy Patinkin, you've got Andre the Giant, and you've got Vincini. I'm forgetting the actor's name. I should remember his name, but they're just so good together, and Mandy Patinkin particularly is perfect and so memorable throughout.
I just love going through this movie and like quoting along the whole time, like literally all the way throughout, just completely memorable quotes. Absolutely great time. I love this movie. So it's at the top of my list. I mean, this isn't an actual ranking, but it's at the top of my list because it's probably my most rewatched.
Yeah. Okay, the first one I'm going to do will also be maybe my most rewatched film. I'm going to go with The Big Lebowski.
Okay.
This is a Coen Brothers film. I've got two Coen Brothers on my list of regular rewatchability. This is a cult classic. A lot of people love this. It's very, very quotable, but it's also weird, and it's a specific taste, and you have to kind of like, you either are part of the Big Lebowski club or you're not.
Yeah.
And it's hard to be mid on the Big Lebowski, but I love this film. And for me, it's that I'll just put it on in the background. Sometimes I'll just, I can watch it for 5 minutes and it'll feel like I watched the whole movie. It doesn't matter where I start. I could start it at any point in the film.
Yeah.
And it just it makes me feel good. I love the jokes. I feel like in my head, I'm just like quoting every single line as I'm going. Yeah. And so for me, that's probably number one most rewatchable film. And I don't remember if you're into it or not. I think you almost are maybe slightly mid, even though I just said.
Yeah, I am kind of mid. I've only seen it the one time. It probably deserves a revisit. I enjoyed it when you showed it to me, but it definitely didn't crack my list by any means.
I don't think it's the kind of film that you can just watch one time and get everything out of it.
Yeah.
I will admit that in college when this came out, I was very much, trying to be a theater geek and movie geek and really just take everything in. And I was so excited to go see The Big Lebowski. And I'm not sure that I fully got it the very first time I watched it. I think I was probably, 5, 6, 7 viewings in before I realized it was like, okay, I don't think this is a miss. I actually think this is my favorite of their films. And that's a lot I get.
You watched it 5, 6, or 7 times thinking it was a miss? What? That doesn't make any sense. You're like the guy who's like, you got to watch this show. Just get through the first 6 seasons, and then 7 and 8 are so good.
Well, I think each time it was progressively better.
Absolutely.
Until eventually it became,
as will be the case with most movies on this list, honestly. A lot of movies on this list just get progressively better.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What's next on your list?
Yeah. So next is going to be the first of honestly 3 David Fincher movies that I love to throw on. And that's The Social Network. I think it's one of the greatest scripts, screenplays, all of that in a movie that I've ever seen in my life. I think it's so expertly written and crafted to the point where, almost similar to what you said, like you can kind of hop into this movie at any point and it'll get you caught up really quickly with what's going on, but it's edited in a way that's it's not from point A to point B. You're cutting in and out of like 3 different time pieces and it's just so expertly done. It's full of really incredible performances. I think it's just one of the best made movies I've ever seen, and it's just endlessly entertaining for me.
Yeah, Aaron Sorkin's script, I think we're going to mention his name a number of times.
Yeah.
we already mentioned it once in the Rob Reiner conversation. I agree. I mean, it's arguably Fincher's best film. He's got incredible material. I think it's peak Eisenberg.
Yep.
And the kind of introduced the world to Garfield. It's a beautifully shot film. And the other thing is that like it rewards two different styles of viewing. You can just rewatch and background it, and like you said, just like hear it, come in at any point. But if you really sit down and watch and pay attention to it, and pay attention to the craft of the filmmaking that
so
Fincher brings to
intelligent.
this, it's insane. It's so well done. Yeah, it's a great choice. I like it a lot.
What do you have?
Okay, I'm gonna. You know what? Maybe I'll keep it in that family. I think I'm gonna go with another Sorkin written film. I'm gonna go with Steve Jobs.
Okay. To me, this is the poor man's Social Network.
Well, again, same writer, different director.
Yeah.
Here you've got Danny Boyle bringing this one to life instead of Fincher. They're very different filmmakers.
Very.
To me, though, the structure of this film is so perfect and fascinating. This is 3 acts, each of them taking place over the course of 30 minutes, 40 minutes of time.
Yeah.
The way that Sorkin brings the story to life. Yeah. And obviously he's taking creative liberties in terms of timing of when this happened or when that happened and things that were said. But I think it really gives you a good sense of this cult of personality that was Steve Jobs, his impact on our culture and our world, and the tragic nature of genius. And I just think it's so well done, and it's spearheaded by, I think, an absolutely perfect Fassbender performance.
Yeah.
So I put it on all the time. I really like to watch this, and it's just one of those that I can watch over and over and over again. We're not talking about TV, I realize, but we've just talked about 2 different Aaron Sorkin written projects in a row. The other thing that I oftentimes do is I will at least once a year, if not twice a year, I will rewatch 3 different Aaron Sorkin television series, like start to finish. I'll do Studio 60. I'll do Sports Night. I'll do Newsroom. I just love listening to his dialogue. I love listening to the way he tells stories. And so I don't know. I think for me, both Social Network and Steve Jobs are probably on my rewatch list specifically because of Sorkin's scripts.
Totally fair. He is an expert at his craft for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, what's next for you?
Next film on my list is going to be Christopher Nolan's The Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, Nolan is probably my favorite director. So I love rewatching all of his movies, literally all of them. I enjoy rewatching. There are 2 that I love to rewatch the most, and this is one of them. And I absolutely love The Prestige. I think for me, it's just the perfect storm of curated to Braden. Like, I love Christian Bale. I do like Hugh Jackman quite a bit. I love magicians, and I love Christopher Nolan. And this, whenever you say this about a movie, it kind of breaks the illusion a little bit of your viewing experience. But I also love movies with twists a lot.
Yeah.
And this movie has multiple twists, really good twists in my opinion. I can't think of another movie on my list that every time I rewatch it, I get something new from movies often when you rewatch them, but this movie truly, I'm noticing details that are pointing towards the reveal, pointing towards the Prestige, that I never noticed. That truly, in my opinion, this is one of those movies where every single second counts. And so obviously it's nearly impossible to be locked in every second of a movie. So on rewatch, you are just catching different bits that I think are incredible. So it's like I said, it's very curated to me, but I do think it's an incredible movie that honestly anybody could enjoy. And I love revisiting this movie. I need to just buy it because I always have to rent it.
We've argued about this movie a bunch over the years, because for you it's peak Nolan, and for me it's mid Nolan. But I still really enjoy it. Mid Nolan is better than almost anyone else. So
it's true. This is true.
I'm not suggesting it's not a good film or that I don't like it. It's just not as good to me as some of the others. But it's a good one. All right, next on my list, I'm going to go sci-fi. I'm going to go with the original Alien, directed by Ridley Scott.
Yes.
This is
yes.
A couple times a year I will rewatch this. I think when I was young, I was first introduced to these films on TV, television edits, small box TVs, and they were edited for TV, but that was the only way we could. Yeah, it was the only options that we had. It was, as I continued to revisit and go back to them, I got to see bigger formats and better edits and things like that. But as a teenager, middle school, high school, Aliens was definitely the movie that I thought was better. But the older I got and the more I rewatched them, the more I truly appreciated Alien and what Ridley Scott brings. And so for me, this is something that I have to go back to. I can watch this movie over and over again. I think it is the most perfect science fiction movie ever made. I love the sort of melding of this science fiction and horror genre together. Amazing performance by Sigourney Weaver, as well as so many others in this. And I like to rewatch this one so much that I can also just go to the special features and turn on one of the documentaries about the making of, and just veg out to that, and it's fantastic. So.
Yeah. For the record, this would have been on my list except for the fact that it was on your list. Fair
enough.
I adore this movie. I think it's one of the best movies ever made.
Yeah.
So
it really is.
Can't argue with you at all. Similarly, as we've said with a lot of these, maybe it's just how we feel about comfort movies or movies that we love so much that they become comfort movies. Is background viewing is just like, it feels good. Like this movie, honestly, like the first 45 minutes is like a little on the slower side. So you're kind of just like hanging out on the ship. And so just doing that in the background is nice, but absolutely great pick. For my next one, I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit.
Okay.
And just throw out the Harry Potter franchise.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I know we're doing movies, but the truth is I rewatch this franchise every single year, around October usually, because I just love the Halloween or just kind of the winter vibes, fall to winter vibes of these movies. Obviously, we've spoken endlessly about how big of a Harry Potter fan I am. You are also a pretty big Harry Potter fan. So like the year is not complete until we've rewatched the Harry Potter movies. Just absolutely charming, absolutely magical. And I love them. So I know it's cheating, but I do. I mean, if you're watching a movie every year, it's got to be on your most rewatched for sure.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, well, I'll do you one next then. For me, it'll be the Godfather trilogy.
Okay.
Will be the next one I take. I know there's a massive drop off between 1, 2, and then to 3, but I'll still rewatch 3. But
you're a
1 and 2, I think that 3 is better than it gets credit for, but there's a couple pretty bad performances that were all kind of just forced upon the production, and Coppola needed the payday, so he didn't push off production to do a better job with some of the casting changes that needed to happen. But 1 and 2 are perfect films, and there's just something about watching either of them that puts me in a completely nostalgic mood, and I just sit there and quote all the. I mean, they're just masterpieces, and I can have them on at any point. So cheating a little bit as well by putting all 3 of those movies into one. But I think 2 is one of my favorite movies of all time, for sure. Like top 3, top 4 films of all time. But 1 is also a masterpiece.
Yeah. Well, we are super strict on the rules, so we should not cheat anymore, except for the fact that I'm going to cheat like 4 or 5 more times.
Okay.
But my next movie is going to be a more recent movie, and that's going to be The Batman. Came out, I think, in 2022. Matt Reeves. I absolutely love the look of this movie. It is one of my favorite looking movies of all time. And it wasn't immediately my favorite Batman movie, but every time I watch this movie, I enjoy it. I feel significantly more. And it has become not only my favorite Batman movie, but possibly my favorite DC movie, and maybe even up there in my favorite comic book movie conversation. Yeah. It's in the top 3. I enjoy this movie more and more every time. And like I said, this is at least a once a year rewatch for me.
It's a great film. I agree. It's become my favorite Batman movie too. And I didn't think that was going to happen when I went into it. So
nobody did.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Good one. Let's see. I don't think I have any superhero films on my list. So I'm going to choose, oh gosh. I'm going to go with Michael Mann's Heat as my next one.
Okay.
This movie meant a lot to me at the time it came out, primarily because of the convergence of De Niro and Pacino, both kind of at the peak of their powers. They were getting on the older side, but they were still considered, the two GOATs competing for that prize every year. Having them on the screen together for the first time was really impressive, and absolutely love that film. Go back to it constantly. Val Kilmer and everybody else in that movie. So I rewatch Heat at least once or twice a year, if not more than that, and just have it on. I won't always get through the whole thing, but I just love it. First time I saw it too, first couple times I saw it, I was pretty convinced that it was too long, that it needed to be trimmed down.
So that's how I felt actually.
20 or so minutes, but the more I watch it, the more I like the quiet moments in the film.
Yeah. With movies like that, you oftentimes kind of have to get on board eventually, to take it for what it is. But oftentimes with a lot of the movies that fit into like this category of movies that people like you would say are the greatest of all time, they tend to feel really long and oftentimes slow. So
I don't mind a good long one. Neither do you though, so long as there's superheroes in it.
No, that's not true. There's plenty of long movies that don't have superheroes in them. Maybe not on this list, but no. Okay, good choice.
All right, what's next for you?
Next, I'm going to take a movie that's very important to me, and that's going to be La La Land. And that's because it was. Yeah. I remember watching this movie actually a little before it came out. Papa had access to it a little early. And we all sat down as a family to watch it, and I must have been 15 years old. And it was kind of just like one of the first movies that like gave me heartache, Yeah. It was one of the first movies I watched that didn't necessarily have a happy ending. And I actually vividly remember this point in my life watching this movie, because I'd never really watched a movie like this. And so it's left quite an impact on me. And I listen to the soundtrack like almost weekly. I absolutely adore it. And I love revisiting this movie anytime I'm ready to be hurt again. So I think it's an absolutely beautiful movie. And not only can it hurt you so bad, but it can also like at times just make you like feel in love with life also. So La La Land is a no-brainer for this list for me.
Great film. I absolutely love it. Very, very rewatchable. And it does have this perfect classic Hollywood sensibility to it that then is modernized in a perfect way. It's a great film.
Beautiful.
All right, I'm going to go with another movie musical, so to speak, although this one's a little different. I'm going to go with a movie called The Commitments. One of my favorites of all time. Super underappreciated and underseen movie, directed by Alan Parker. And this is about a group of Irish kids who come together to make a soul band in Dublin and try and make it in the world of music. There's something that's just like perfectly beautiful and tragic about this. I love the music. I love all the characters. It is, if you watch it now and you hadn't seen it before, you'll spot one or two performers that you recognize from other things, little parts here, little parts there. But by and large, this was made up of a cast of unknowns. and kids who really fit the part, who were from the area, who were musicians. And I just think it's one of my favorite films of all time that focuses on music. I think they just really get it right. It feels real the whole time.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but it's on my list of movies to watch. So you kind of just sold me on it. So I think I
need to add it to your homework list.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
You know, staying in this kind of music category, my next movie is not a musical, but it is a movie centered around music in a lot of ways, and that's going to be Baby Driver. Edgar Wright's Baby Driver is, I think, one of the most rewatchable movies I've ever seen, in the sense that it's very fast paced. It's very almost groovy. Like the whole time you're kind of just like nodding your head along to the music. And the way that it incorporates said music into the actual filming of the movie, I think is just super unique. And I love anything that has to do with, you know, bank robbery and crime. And obviously you got to have your little romance in there. And I just think it's a movie that I quickly recognized as something that not a lot of people thought was necessarily perfect, but to me, it was pretty much perfect. I was like, I could just throw this on all the time if I'm ready to have just a great time. Like it's a great time all the way throughout. You know, it has its dramatic moments or whatnot, but I would say that this is a movie that's just high octane fun the whole time.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep it in the family there too. I'm going to go with Scott Pilgrim versus the World. This is my most rewatchable Edgar Wright film.
Okay.
To me, this is a one of one. There's nothing else like this movie in terms of the structure and the style. All the characters, an insane cast, one of the most stacked cast of young performers at the time who've all gone on to do huge things since. I just love this movie. I watch it over and over and over again. I think it is so damn funny. But more than that, it's just the style, this sort of blending of comic books and video games and music, and everything kind of converging into one viewing experience. It's both funny and sad and surreal at the same time. I love Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And it's definitely it gets Edgar's place on my list for most rewatchable.
All right, fair enough, makes sense. I think it's time for me to cheat again.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go back to the superhero genre.
Oh,
and by the way, here's my pattern that I recognized. Is my list is mostly made up of movies that I either grew up watching or came out in my teenage years. And as I was really starting to fall in love with watching movies. And obviously that was further back, so I've had time to rewatch over and over again.
Sure.
There are plenty of new movies that I rate very highly that I know will become constant rewatches. But a lot of these I either grew up with or I watched when I was like between the ages of 13 to 17. So that's my pattern that I recognized as I was putting this list together.
Yeah.
But I'm going back to the
formidable
superhero
years. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah. I'm going back to my superhero roots. Okay. And I'm going to take all of the Russo brother directed Marvel movies.
All of them.
So
that's a big cheat.
Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame. 4 of my favorite Marvel movies, period. Those 4 are definitely in my top 7, and I find them honestly up there with the most rewatchable in the MCU, because I think, as I mentioned earlier, the Russo brothers know how to handle these characters, how to put them in very interesting situations, and how to, like, as you might say, play with the toys in the sandbox. And they might sometimes be banging the action heroes together, but they do it in a really fun and cool way and really compelling way. And I think ultimately their Marvel movies are, for the most part, the most compelling out of all the MCU movies for me personally. Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that they're centered around Steve Rogers. That is a big part of it. But as far as I'm aware, they have no misses in the MCU.
Yeah. That's fair. All 4 are really good films.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna cheat as well then. I'm gonna go in, and I think we should do maybe 2 more each, and then run through some honorables.
Sounds good.
I'm going to go with the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Particularly for me, I think the one that I rewatched the most is Fellowship.
Fair.
I think maybe for a while, Two Towers was my favorite, but I think over time, Fellowship has become my favorite. I just think it's got the most of everything that I want. I think it also has the best pacing of any of the three of them. They're all super rewatchable, but I think it's got the best pacing. So I'll go back to those again. Peter Jackson, arguably the best trilogy of all time. I mean, there's nothing missed in these. So there's no lowlights in this trilogy. So I'll go back to those, and particularly Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah. I mean, the greatest trilogy of all time is definitely on my list as well. So I won't touch on it for too long, but I will agree that Fellowship is the best paced. And I believe it's because it follows one group all the way throughout rather than jumping between different groups.
Right.
That's definitely a big part of it, but they're my favorite movies ever. I mean, really, if I had to decide, it'd be The Lord of the Rings. So great choice. I'm going to take an older movie.
Okay.
Clue. I'm going to take Clue. You know, the classic murder mystery that obviously everybody knows about Clue, but they usually know about Clue the board game, but I'm talking about Clue the movie. I think it's extremely witty, extremely, like the banter is just peak. It's perfect. The way they bounce back and forth, the way they keep you intrigued in the mystery, the characters, and then I'm not going to spoil it, but the way that the movie ends is completely unique. And because of how fast-paced and witty this movie is, I find it just so incredibly rewatchable. We sound like broken records. How many times can we say incredibly rewatchable or comfort movies or whatever? But it's true. Like this movie, I could throw this on at any time, be thoroughly entertained the entire time, laugh at jokes that I completely forgot were in the movie, and walk away just feeling very happy. So I love.
Yeah,
Clue.
this was on my list as well. You beat me to it, and so what I said earlier about The Big Lebowski being the film that I've watched more than any other, I think that's actually probably not true. It's actually probably Clue.
Okay.
And I'm sure that for a while, you were seeing it a lot because I was playing it a lot, and it's just one of those that I go back to over and over and over again. Got to go see it in theaters with your sister this year. It was great.
Cool.
In the revival. I love this movie, and it is without doubt a top rewatchable. So, okay. Before getting into honorable mentions, I'm going to do one more. Let's see here. I've done that. I'm going to go with a more classic one. I'm going to go with The Great Escape. And recently referenced in Stranger Things. In a really fun way. This is a perfect John Sturges movie with an incredible cast of top tier actors at the time, and great soundtrack, great story. Kind of just the movie that the type of movie I grew up on.
Yeah,
World War II.
Makes sense.
World War II pieces like this, and I just go back to this over and over again. It's the kind of film that I don't know, I've seen 20, 30 times. It's a long one, but it's just so good. And is really perfectly captures the type of film that was being produced at the time with these incredible casts. Also, as you see it shot across Germany and Switzerland and England and all these places, is just beautiful landscapes. Nothing obviously CG about it. So I think it's also a perfect film and worth rewatching nonstop.
Great choice. I need to revisit it. I haven't seen it in a very long time, so
yeah, you should for sure.
I will do that. Yeah. But let's run through some honorable mentions. I'll run through mine real quick, and then you want to run through yours?
Yep, sounds good.
Okay. I mean, if we had more time, if we weren't so long-winded, we would have covered these a little more in depth. But
yeah.
For me, my honorable mentions consist of the Creed trilogy. These are
good choice.
These are my sports movies. I absolutely love them. Ocean's 11, I think, is just the absolute most entertaining heist movie ever. It's just absolutely a great time. The Pirates of the Caribbean trilogy. Grew up on these, and I absolutely love them. I could throw on any of the first three at any time. Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, whatever you call it, is, I think, one of the most underrated and greatest sci-fi movies of the last decade for sure. Maybe at this point we're just outside of a decade. I'm not sure, but
since it came out,
something
I think
maybe
more
like
than
20.
that. I bet.
Yeah, something, but it's recent, and I think it's absolutely incredible, and rewards rewatches for sure. Then I have both Mission Impossible Rogue Nation and Mission Impossible Fallout. For me, these are my two favorite Mission Impossible movies, and I think they're very fun. They kind of act as a 1-2, and so I love to watch both of these back to back every now and then, probably yearly. And the last two are going to be The Gentleman from Guy Ritchie. For me, this is maybe my favorite Guy Ritchie movie. I just think it's at least his modern masterpiece. And again, by the nature of Guy Ritchie, this is an extremely rewatchable film. It's actually one of my favorites ever, if I'm being honest. And lastly, it would be ridiculous to not mention the Spider-Verse movies, Into and Across. I think are both perfect movies. Yeah. And I adore them.
Yeah. Good. All fun movies. I like them all. Okay, so I'm going to go with a classic that I rewatch constantly is The Big Sleep with Humphrey Bogart. I don't know why I love this one so much. I mean, there's aspects of the plot that are incoherent. I just love it so much. I go back to it constantly. Another Coen Brothers film, Miller's Crossing, is one of my favorites to rewatch.
Good one.
Another Sorkin script, Moneyball, is a favorite to rewatch over and over again.
How can you not be romantic about baseball? That's
right. Noises Off is a film that I go back to all the time and love watching. Napoleon Dynamite is another one that I love to go back to over and over again.
Makes
I
sense.
think it's a perfect, quirky movie, and it just makes me feel good watching it. I will rewatch Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead a couple times a year. I love that movie. Another mockumentary, What We Do in the Shadows. The film version that the TV version was based on. Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, just really great mockumentary about vampires. Yeah. And I love that one. A few others I'll touch on. Jaws. Yep. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yep. Birdman. Yep. These are all movies that I go back to constantly. So, those are our lists.
Hopefully you guys check out some of those if you haven't seen them. I think all of these movies are rather accessible. There's nothing like too incredibly artsy or strange on these lists. I think they're very digestible, and so check them out. They're great movies. I think we just put together a solid and not incredibly surprising list of recommendations.
A lot of these we've talked about on the podcast before briefly or in depth. So yeah.
And all right, well, speaking there aren't of watching, too many super hot takes or anything like that in here either, So.
No, I doubt it. No. All right, well, I'll try that. I'm going to try that intro again here. Or that
and action.
Speaking of watching movies, we both watched a couple movies this week, right? Our homework. We should dive into that. Let's start off. I gave you The Life of Brian by Monty Python. A little Christmas tie-in. What'd you think?
What do you think that I thought?
Well, I thought that there was a really decent chance that you were going to regretfully not appreciate this movie. So I don't know, but it's a classic.
Yeah. Okay. So a part of me feels like this is one of the stupidest fucking movies I've ever seen in my life. Like if I'm being completely honest, I was just like, what the hell?
I think there's a part of it that is, and purposely so.
Yeah, so I'll say for the most part, I learned that this is not my thing.
Monty Python.
I really was not finding a lot of it funny. There were moments that made me laugh. I mean, when they were all listening to Jesus and the people were in the back were relaying information and they said, blessed are the cheesemakers and the Greek will inherit the earth. Stuff like that made me laugh. There were there were moments sprinkled throughout that I found pretty funny. Also like Biggest Dickus and all that. But for the most part, I was just regretting most of the time that I was watching the movie. And and this is pretty easily my least favorite of my homework assignments so far.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
I was curious how well Monty Python would translate at this point.
Not well.
Yeah, apparently not. Well, I'm sorry that you didn't like it, but had a few moments of enjoyment.
I bet you liked your homework. So you're welcome. You sucked this week.
I did. So you gave me Begonia.
Yep.
And we discussed a little bit on the podcast last week. I liked it a lot. I don't know how rewatchable, to keep with our theme, that I found the movie.
Yeah.
But
probably not very.
But the performances were just absolutely amazing. I was enthralled the entire time. I don't know how like predictable I feel like it really was. I mean, I think I might have already kind of known what the ultimate reveal was going to be. I think it had been spoiled for me in some way, so I'm curious how I would have felt about it had I not kind of been expecting it to happen. But it was a really good movie. I think it's definitely it's edging into maybe top 10 for me for the year.
Yeah. Okay.
And higher on the list. It really good. I mean, Jesse Plemons was insanely good in this movie, and Emma Stone as well. So
he is.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean,
people joke
heartbreaking.
that Jesse Plemons is like discount Matt Damon, but I think he is incredible. I think he's an incredible actor, and he's just winning me over more and more. And he is, and he delivers one of my favorite lines of all time in a comedy, and that's in Game Night when they say they had a 3-for-1 deal on Tostitos, and he says, "How can that be profitable for Frito-Lay?"
For Frito-Lay.
Yeah, such a good line. But
that's a super. By the way, that should have been on my rewatch list. I love that movie.
That movie is super rewatchable. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyways,
yeah. Well,
I'm glad you liked
it. I enjoyed Begonia, and I'm glad I got it in. So you gave me a softball on this one, so I appreciate that.
All right, there you go. This week, I am going to give you something completely different. These could not be more different. Well, maybe they could, but they're very different. And that's going to be another new movie, actually, another movie from this year.
Okay.
You can watch it on Netflix, and it's called Train Dreams.
All right.
And the reason I watched it is because it was getting a lot of award buzz.
Yeah. Best actor buzz, particularly, I think, right?
Yeah. And I think rightfully so. As it tends to be with a lot of these kinds of movies that are, set to win the awards, I have it nowhere near perfect, but I have it as really good. And I think it's absolutely worth watching. I won't tell you too much about it, but Joel Edgerton is phenomenal, and it's shot and set in the forest, and the way the forest looks, the way it's shot, I think is somehow like it almost feels like familiar, cozy, nostalgic, even though you have like no like relation to it in any way. It's just shot really interestingly. I want to hear what you think about that. I think ultimately you're gonna like it. I don't know. I'm not giving you in my opinion, a perfect movie here, but I think it's definitely worth watching since it's new, and we're gonna have to do some homework for award season coming up, anyways.
Yep. We got a few things we've discussed. Okay, for you, I'm giving you a Rob Reiner film, Stand By Me.
Okay.
Also adapted from a Stephen King short story. I don't know. I think you've only probably seen Joaquin Phoenix in a few things. Particularly probably Last Crusade, but not Joaquin Phoenix. Sorry, River Phoenix.
Yes,
Joaquin's brother, in a few things. And I think that you'll really like this one a lot. It was definitely a classic.
All right, it's actually I actually was just seconds away from starting this movie a couple weeks ago, and I ended up getting distracted or deciding to just go to sleep instead or something like that. So I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I really liked this one a lot when I was younger, and it's a great one to come back to. So I'm hoping you'll enjoy Stand By Me.
I'm sure that I will.
All right. Well, we've ranked and we've debated. We disagreed, though, not about who shot first. It's all just another day in the galaxy.
So, whether you're Gen X, Gen Z, or somewhere lost in the timeline, please continue to listen, like, share, and subscribe to I Am Your Father.
Until the next episode, remember that with great power comes great second breakfast, but winter is also coming, so may the force live long and prosper with you.
Inconceivable!